Hey, people. A wise person once told me, I believe trees are God. And I didn't argue with that for about 5 different reasons, maybe. Number one is I love trees. I've been climbing trees all my life. I'm 58 years old and I still climb trees. And this is another one of them sassy frasses growing above my head here. It's about 7 foot tall. It was growing in covered forest. I just thinned this out so you get some light, so it's real thin. But I'm fixing to tell you about 4 more other reasons I didn't want to argue with this.
So I just moved my channel. I've been holding my breath trying to get monetized for so long. I turned white here. And this is my old channel. You see the K on the end. So I'm going to try to keep this short, and I'm going to put it on both channels. My new channel's over here, and I switched the red icon over here. And I removed the K over here. You see the difference. But this is the one you want to be subscribed to, man. I'm going to put all my readings here. And I'm going to save that other channel for when I make something that YouTube might not like. So I'll leave the links to both of them below here in the first comment. So the main reason I couldn't argue with that, anytime I have an argument about God, it's either going to be with a Christian or a Jew or an atheist. And so this person let me know that they weren't none of the above just by saying that. Because I'm arguing with a Christian or a Jew, I go straight to the book and they can't argue with that. It says it straight in the book. Allah. Everybody in the world think Allah is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the God of Moses, Allah. And it plainly says that it's an elm or an oak or a teal tree. And it's also means strong. This is word 424, Allah. And in word 423, they'll say that Allah, same spelling, Allah is the oath, my oath. And then word 422, Allah is to go up to climb the tree. If you look in the orange over here, this is the definitions they'll give these words, which are never what they say the words mean. They just put whatever they have to in there. But it plainly says, it's to ascend, to climb, Allah. And in word 421, Allah, same thing, A-L-E, is to climb, to ascend. And they'll say it means whale here. And that's the whole reason they give it another number, because they couldn't make it fit. And then down at word 414, the A-L-A, it's still Allah. And you see it means a tabernacle tree, the oak tree. And this comes from the base number 412, just the A-L-L, God, the mighty one. And as word 411, they'll often say this is these, those, but they still say it means God or mighty one. And then word 410, the L, all, A-L, they say it means God or mighty one, strength. And at 409, they'll say it means the same thing as law or not, thou shalt not. And this is all because they're trying to force that King James interpretation over the Hebrew. The same as word 408. They'll say it means let there be no, not. And they're seeing that as law, which it is the same. A words read backwards. It reads more than once. It has more meaning than one. And then up at word 427, Allah, there under the oak tree, the oak. They say it defined as an oath or a curse, meaning an oak or other strong tree. The strong tree, the oath. And word 426, Allah of God, God, Allah. Same spelling, A-L-E. You'll see it in Ezra 5:1, Allah of the God. And if you ever want to name your child God, it's a common. People used to name their child God all the time back in the day. Today they'll say, well, that's blasphemy. You can't call yourself God. People did it all the time. The Hebrews did it. But you can see where it's coming from, to be strong, mighty, the big oak tree. But what gave me the idea to make this video, I just found this in 1 Samuel 14. In line 36, it goes on down. This is a placedom. It's where your word plastic comes from. There was no Philistines, a Plstim, and placedom. In a hurry, quickly placed them. And it goes on down here. It's got this line here twice, where this line, it reads up here, and then it reads backwards again, and then this reads, and this reads backwards again. And so when you see this, this is some old writings. They've been honing for years to get them written just perfect, so they read forward and backwards. Then when you get here, then you come back here and read this again, and it comes to a full stop over here, and seems good to you, do. And it comes to a full stop, and he said, "Why, American, infer of the elm, all hail 'em, all hail the king, the elm, all hail 'em." And so the elm was the god of Americans, the old American, said the priest. If furs when he called his name, in a fur of the elm all hail 'em. Hail, that's where your word inhale comes from. Everybody has to inhale what the trees are making. And so trees might not be God, trees might be creating the God that keeps everything alive. We've got to have oxygen. In the elm all hail 'em. The American elm, less commonly known as the white elm or water elm. The elm trees, particularly the American elm, held cultural practical significance in ancient times, serving as council trees for Native Americans, symbols in Celtic mythology, and valued for their timber and medicinal properties. They were also used for supporting grapevines in the Mediterranean, and were associated with both life and death in different cultures. And here's one you might not have known. The family of the elm tree was formerly treated as hackberries, but by analysis of the angiosperm phylogeny group, suggests that it was related to cannabis. This is everything that all the sons and daughters of the elm, which is the brother to the cannabis. And most people don't know this, but all of Genesis 1 is just a preface and down to the first 3 lines. And the book of Genesis doesn't start until Genesis 2:4, and this is the book of Genesis. It's easier to see here in the Greek, 2:4, and this is the book of the origin of heaven and earth, the book of Genesis. And it starts out with Allah, the tree, the strong, the God, told what? The tree told what is in. The mem reads as a n, is in. And the tree told what is in, where it's be barum. The tree said to where it's barum, biome as what you halem. Y-E-W, like a sheep, a female sheep, a U-H-A-L-E-I-M, halem. And so this is, Allah, the tree, and I am, plural, the trees. And where you halem, arts was in. W-S, and the mem reads as a E-N. It's an ancient Egyptian thing, but it's a N. A mem is a single N. And Allah told what is in, where it's be barum, biome as what? Barum, biome as what? Give birth to. It's be barum, biome as what? And what they give, and they were created and gave birth to. And be barum, biome is what? And Allah told what is in, where it's be barum, biome is what? And so the tree is more like the tree of life. Everything came off of a tree of life. Here's the base, here's the beginning. Allah started here, and then it started branching out, having sons and daughters, the tree. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that that's what this is about. It's about putting names on everything. And told Adam to put names on it. And then he plainly says, he come down here and planted a garden and throwed a man in it and gave him the breath of life. And offer men had me how pitch, why pitch in a pie in the mouth. And he brought him to the garden to show him, and with of to Michael, Michael is he who is like God. The Michael, what's WOTS? What's the chime? The chime of your life. The chime in took again. What's edit? What's edit? What to remove and what doesn't belong and what's edit. I edited some of the trees that were given power lines problem and get some light to the trees that I preferred. And what's edit. I trimmed some of the trees out because I have knowledge of trees and the tree of knowledge. And what's edit. To borrow. And then he plainly says down here what's the whole idea of the trees. Over here at the forbidden fruit, where it began, Odin loved the trees, wills more and keep it, the samurai to protect. And he said, and Witsu in commanded, and which to you hail, Haleim, which to you hail 'em, all had 'em. No more Michael of oxygen, OXEGN, the oxygen. The tree of the garden is the oxygen. And the oxygen is critical. I said that last movie. Anytime they double up a word, is the other word, American, means the word similar, the word akin. Is the first one they'll give very, and here they'll give it a freely, a call. They used to say a call is to eat, and it's critical. But in ancient times, they believed that the oxygen was from the tree of the garden. And Michael, that's he who is like God, is what they'll define that. The whole, all. And you could tell this reads more than once. It has different meanings. But, to make lots, LOTS, the lots of every tree, make lots critical. A critical, that sounds like in the office where they're keeping all the paperwork up. The clerics work, a critical. From clocks, the critical. But back here in 1 Samuel 14, where I found the American elm here, I found something else up here. That was 1436 and 1435. This is where your word believe come from. And that he built an altar to Yahweh. And M's believe, Lieve. This is BH, and that's the sacrifice. The ZBH is the sacrifice. And the altar is the from the sacrifice. And this is the one they say is Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever. But it's a Lieve. And this is a Believe, believe. And so what it actually says is you believe what you want to believe. This is Y Ben. Y means avav is connected and I is work. And how did things get done? How to get done? Who did it? Why, how or who. And why Benzalem's believe. At each, the EH is the ECH. You see it here, the each. And the L reading here, L, the double L reading is I, a living, LIVN. And each living what'ums believe. And why Benzalem's believe at each living what'ems believe. Everybody's build the altar where they believe. Your own altar. Believe what you want to believe. Why Benzalems believe at to each living what'ems believe. Living whatever you believe, live it. Don't let nobody tell you what to believe. You know, if I never heard anything about religion, if I just woke up in a world where with what I saw, I would probably believe that trees were God too. You know, they're the greatest, they're the strongest, they're the tallest. We couldn't live without them. You know, trees are God. And the poor old Jews over there, everybody thinks they're so smart. God, how come they can't wake up? The whole world's waking up. This new Hebrew language, it's impossible to learn. That's why they use English over there, because they totally created the new Hebrew language to try to cover up what the Bible says. They don't want nobody to know that these ancient Hebrews actually spoke American. Amer, the word akin, a similar. You know, also American, who Amer. How the word of the priest is what they'll say. The word of the priest was American. You know, if you're pronounced this hack Kohen, you're an idiot. You know, it's just a E-K-E-N. Iken. Why American? How American? So I believe that was Lucky Forges that told me that a couple years ago. And she doesn't have any content up. Only got one subscriber, so maybe if we all subscribe to her channel, maybe she'll share some more of her knowledge with us. And I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.